I've been involved here since 2003 and came into Puhi Peaks when it's half the area it was now, and it was more run as a walk at that stage, so a 6-month walking season and a 3-month hunting season through the raw. And then we ended up putting half of that into a QE2 covenant in 2005. I've always wanted to come back to having some more stock here. The challenge was to keep the deer out, not the deer in, so we designed a perimeter fence in 2012, finished building it in 2014. Yep. But as a percentage of the farm, it's tiny. I mean, out of an overall area of sort of 8,000 acres or just under 4,000 hectares, yep. I think we've got about 350 hectares behind wire. It's not very big at all. I suppose the bit that really interests me is how we best manage the wild deer and biodiversity regeneration of the bush, how we could get some good measures on that, how the two can complement each other so that we can actually, because we need to be making money off our stock and off our, it's all very well having honey and carbon is what we've survived on in the last 2 years, but that's not robust enough in the longer term to actually make it work.
Do you have a sense or a feel for the forests here and how healthy they are, whether they're regenerating, whether the canopy species are coming through the younger forest stands? Do you have a feel for that?
I find it really interesting walking through some of the QE2 part where we've got quite a lot of Kaikoura, and it was something we saw at Woodstock, that in parts there are these definite growth spurts where deer farming and wild capture in the early deer farming days, there's definitely areas that are that age group.
Yeah, they've benefited from the low numbers at that time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And some areas, I think our numbers are less than they were. And in some areas we're getting some generation, and other areas where they camp, there's just bear underneath. Yeah.
Right.
And that's the bit that, again, I find if you're going to have some deer, you've actually got to have areas. They are going to go to areas to camp in the winter. So, how you manage that and how you really, as I say, my deer management background in Scotland, it's open country in the Highlands. They do helicopter counts and you know exactly what you've got on the ground, and they do it every year. It's very repeatable. And you get a really good picture of what's going on. Whereas here they'd all just hide in the trees. So it's much harder to get a really good measure on what's what. We're definitely lacking indicator species for regeneration.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think my biggest challenge, and that's why I enjoy having these conversations with my sort of contacts that I've made at Lincoln, is how we can find that balance, because I've got 3 boys who love hunting. I love seeing deer on the hill because I've got a background in Scotland. And I think they are part of New Zealand life, but I'm also passionate about biodiversity and regeneration.